Hello, y'all. Guess what? Guess what, family? I'm getting ready to find out if Candace Owens is a narcissist. Is beautiful, smart, talented, filled with morals, taking good care of her health, excellent mother. Candace Owens wears a lot of different suits. She's like got multiple personality. Y'all, but not disorder. I don't really consider a disorder. One thing Candace Owens is not, before I hear the video, she's not a normal. So we're getting ready to find out if Candace Owens is a we're getting ready to find out if Candace Owens is a narcissist, if she's narcissistic, or if she's an empath. She's one of the three. She's either a narcissist, a narcissistic person, or an empath. I do see empathy there, y'all. So I didn't do the breakdown, and I don't have the expertise that HG Tudor has. I just learned from him. He's a British man. So let's see what HG Tudor has to say. Let's see what HG Tudor has to say. Hold on. I got to make one quick call. Buzzy, I gotta call you back. I'm getting ready to find out if Candace Owens is a narcissist. So HG Tudor just did the conclusion, part 11. So I'm getting ready to fit. She's not a narcissist? No. Okay. So because I'm on my live. Say hello on my live. Yeah, what up? Yeah, my cousin said, "What's up, y'all?" I didn't want to, violate people's rights and not let y'all know or let the person know they're on here because I'm 3 minutes in my live. Yeah, so we get ready to find out, y'all. We get ready to find out. Yeah, so you say what you think she's not she's not a normal. So you think she's an empath, narcissistic, or a narcissist? Yeah, she's a very strong empath. She's a very strong empath. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm feeling. And the reason I feel she's more likely to be an empath is because of her multiple personalities, not disorder though. She was tricking people. She was tricking the right people. So like a position, like notoriety and stuff. So she was like going against the grain, but I think she's like pro-black. I think her and her white husband like supportive of the black community. No, she had no remorse about what happened to George Floyd. Well, I know George Floyd personally, and he's never mind. She wasn't wrong for that. She wasn't what? She wasn't wrong. Well, I don't agree with police taking their job on like that. They were wrong. The police were wrong. So that's how I mean. Police was wrong for the way they treated him, but that doesn't negate the fact that he was like a menace to society. He was detrimental to society. No, I think that police is. That police is too. Yeah. Two people that was detrimental to society ran into each other. Who gonna win? A police officer or one random Negro? But that day George Floyd was just buying some cigarettes, right? He was high on cocaine. Probably had some fentanyl. Yeah. See, he created his own consequence by continuing to break the law. He shouldn't give the police a hard time. He should just they put me in cuffs. He didn't give him a hard time, Buzzy. He knew that they was gonna kill him. Yeah. Okay.
So with the George Floyd situation, that's the thing, y'all. You know, the assassination of George Floyd's character, he never gave the police a hard time. What it was his gift kicking in. He didn't want to get in the back of the car. He pretty much knew that they was gonna kill him that day. So it's not a resisting arrest thing. It's okay, if somebody took me and say the police wanted to put George Floyd like in the basement, right? So, or me or anyone else, and it's like, no, I don't want to go in the basement. So when you watch the video, and this is the debate with this George Floyd situation was not a resisting arrest, and this is why. Ultimately, the police had him on his stomach. George Floyd was on his stomach and he had his hands cuffed behind his back. So the police were able to stop any potential resisting arrest was resolved when George Floyd was on his stomach with his hands cuffed. He can't resist anymore. There's nothing he can do. So if there was a threat of resisting arrest, then that was stopped. But all those officers continued to put their body weight on him. And that just came up because we were talking about the George Floyd situation. But what I'm getting ready to do is I'm getting ready to do a reaction on Candace Owens. We're getting ready to find out from HG Tudor perspective if she's actually a narcissist or not. So what I'm doing in my walk is respecting other people's opinions more, but what I like to do is point out the facts. I've thoroughly watched the arrest video of George Floyd, and I see no high risk of resisting arrest. He just didn't want to be in the back of the car. He's just asking not to be put in certain positions because he already knew that Derek Chauvin was going to kill him. You know, George Floyd and Derek Chauvin, they used to work in the same club, y'all. Derek Chauvin probably already told him he gonna kill him. Nigga, next time I see you, next time I arrest you, nigga, you gonna die. That's the behavior of how George Floyd reacted. So either way, even if George Floyd resisted arrest a little, just by saying, I don't want to be in the back of the car. But resisting arrest is much, much more than just a verbal statement. So regardless, once they got George Floyd on his stomach, which he shouldn't have never been on his stomach, we want to point that out. That's not a position he should be in at all with men on his body like that. There's no resisting arrest. It stops. So he ain't resisting nothing once he's on his stomach with his hands cuffs behind his back. And ultimately, Derek Chauvin, which is the white police officer, kept his knee in his neck and unalived him right on the scene. So there's no resisting arrest. They resolved the resisting arrest by putting him on his stomach and putting his hands behind his back and handcuffing him. And like I said, he was never supposed to be on his stomach. And also, police officers are not supposed to be putting their knee in your neck like that. A police officer, they're just there to arrest you, y'all. They're there to do the detective work, to do their policing work. And in that case, they were doing an arrest. That's it. Look at all your relatives that have been arrested. If you have any friends or relatives that have even been arrested ever in your family, imagine that happening to them. Whether it be your sister, brother, sons, daughters. Imagine it happened to yourself. What if I was arrested, or when I was arrested, that would have happened to me? Instead of a police just arresting me, I spend the weekend in jail, have my court date Monday morning. Imagine I never even make it to jail. I never make it to court. I never make it out of jail because some crazy police officers think they have the right to do that to me. So, you know, I just have a lot of empathy. I don't agree that George Floyd, he created that consequence by stop smoking cigarettes, y'all. I mean, you know, drug addiction, smoking cigarettes, liquor, all of that leads to those situations like wrong place, wrong time. Me, if they would have said they didn't think my $20 was real, the store staff came out to George Floyd. They wanted the cigarettes back. Just give them the cigarettes back. Here, take your cigarettes. That's what I would have did to avoid the police issue. But I do believe that George Floyd had some ongoing criminal behaviors that puts him at risk of getting ensnared by some evil police officers like that. Very sad case. But anyway, we're getting ready to find out if Candace Owens is a narcissist. My cousin feels like she's an empath. I see that she's empathic too. Worst case scenario, she might be narcissistic, but I suspect she's an empath, but let's see what the professional says. So HD Tutor is going to give his perspective, his professional perspective of what she is. And he's going to break it down thoroughly, y'all. I've already watched parts 1 through 10. So this is the conclusion, which is part 11. So fair use, y'all. Hello? Yeah. So, oh, you were saying the resisting arrest part, right?
I can barely hear the same.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the resisting arrest part, but see, they got that under control, Buzzy. The resisting arrest, when they got him on his stomach and had his hands behind his back, they got that under control. If that was an issue.
What do you mean they got it under control?
He's no longer resisting, so they don't need to do nothing else to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult. He was found. He was charged in the court of law, so that he was. Derek Chauvin was charged in the court of law for murdering him.
Yeah, he's in prison right now, along with the other officers too.
They in the prison too?
Yeah, all of them.
You sure about that?
Positive. They weren't at first, but they ended up snagging them too.
Yeah, because it's mainly it's all four of them, all four of the officers' fault.
Yeah, because they had their body weight on them for so long.
Yeah, so we talked about this before, because you got to be able to move your diaphragm to breathe.
Yeah, and they just shouldn't have them on his stomach like that.
So if you got 500-600 pounds on your back, you can't move your diaphragm.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was using his chin and his head to try to pry his body up, and he snapped his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and the reason why he snapped his neck is because when he using so much force to try to pry his body up, Derek Chauvin at the same time using his 200 pounds of weight forcing him down, so he breaks his neck.
Yeah. Oh, he had a neck break. I didn't know he had his neck snapped. I didn't know that.
Well, it's not written down nowhere. It's not given.
They ain't gonna write it down because that shows more damage.
But
they're gonna hide that.
In one of the videos, they took the video off the internet, but you can hear his neck snap.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, all four of them was responsible for killing them. All four of them.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I just don't agree with that kind of policing. I just always think about
they wrong. It was wrong for that.
Yeah, I think it's in broad daylight. This ain't the 1800s plantation days.
But he gave him a little fight at first.
Well, that's not what. See, people kind of misinterpret what was happening. He never fought him. He never got physical. No, he didn't. He just asked.
He did resist arrest.
He didn't. That was not from my perspective. That's not what was happening.
I seen the video.
I did too. He just was begging. Well, see, he already knew that.
If I seen the video where he resisted arrest, and you seen the video where he didn't resist arrest, we saw different footage, but it was all footage.
No, he never fought him, Buzzy. He never got physical with them. He allowed them to arrest him.
He didn't get too physical, but he was kind of resisting arrest.
He was saying he didn't want to get put in the back of the car because his instinct knew he was getting ready to die. So see, that's not resisting. He was
high. He was on drugs.
No, he was spiritually feeling what was getting ready to happen. See, when you getting ready to die,
he's an avid coke
when you are getting ready to die,
he's an avid coke
when you are getting ready to die, there's the angels swarm around. They're getting ready to collect your soul. Right. So he was having a spiritual moment from my perspective, and he could tell that man gonna kill him. So it's just like if the police take me and I say, no, I don't want to get in the back of the car. He didn't want to be confined and in a space with them because he could feel the energy. That's an energy exchange going on, not a resisting arrest.
The point is, Candace Owens came out right away, and she did what white people was doing to black people for the past, I don't know how many years, 4 decades. Anytime an innocent black man get killed, they be like, well, he was this and he was that, you know. He had a criminal record this long. He had a criminal, you know, and she was wrong for that. But Candace was playing a part. She was trying to gain a following, and she had all these MAGA people following her. And now the MAGA people, they were like, oh my God, who is this Candace Owens now? She, you know.
And it worked. Her method worked.
It worked, right. It worked.
That's one of the richest black women in the United States now.
She is?
Yeah. Yeah, she got over 1 million followers. For her age, in her age category, she's one of the richest black women.
Yeah, I didn't like her at first. She all right now. But
she all right now. I mean, I got beyond. I knew when the way she talked about George Floyd. I did know this. She's not a good woman to be married to a black man, because she don't like them, and she's not. She's married to a white man.
She might like a black man. She just married to a white man.
She liked her black grandpa, and that's it. She married to that white man.
She's the kind of black woman that most black men ain't gonna treat her right. They gonna cheat on her. They not gonna respect her.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
She beautiful. She a nice looking woman. She ain't nothing wrong with her.
Oh yeah. I actually what I've learned to do this. I've gained a lot of respect for Candace Owens, and I've learned that just because it's one area I didn't like her in or respect her opinion, she has gained my respect in many other areas.
Yeah.
But
I think she the one that probably help Charlie Kirk not be a racist anymore. That motherfucker was a racist.
Well, he still was a racist. He just like her.
No, he didn't die racist. He was a racist, but you gotta be around some good black people to realize, hey, I shouldn't be this racist, you know.
And I don't think that happened for him.
It did.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure it did. He stopped being a supporter of Israel because, you know, the most racist white people are the ones who support Israel.
Yeah.
Those are the most racist white people.
Yeah, that's true.
And they got a joint venture to suppress black people, especially, you know, African Americans. They working together.
Right. That's very true.
And they know what they doing. And Charlie Kirk was a victim of them, and he found out that he was part of this. I think he found out he was part of this white superior cult, or he found out, and so he started rejecting it. Cause
right.
No, it's not me. This isn't me.
Right.
That motherfucker, I really hated him. Talking about white people. The first white people here were settlers. Mm-hmm. They weren't. So they went from settlers to slave masters. Mm-hmm. So I was like, no, they weren't settlers. They were. What were they? They were imperialists.
Yeah. They were something like that.
They were. What are they called? I can't think of the word. They're not settlers. They the opposite of bad guys.
Like not the Pilgrims.
Nah, they were pillaged. Not Pilgrims. They came to pillage the place.
Not immigrants.
No, they were terrorizers. What is the word for it?
Terrorists.
They were terrorists, but what's the word? They were colonizers. That's what they were. Colonizers.
Okay, colonists. Colonists.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were colonizers. You either
colonizers.
You're either a refugee, a colonizer, or you're a settler. Mm-hmm. When you go into somebody else's land. But the whole fact that they tried to say Christopher Columbus discovered the land, that they had ill intent because he didn't discover shit. So they had to be colonizers. So discovered this.
Because Christopher Columbus is considered a colonizer too, right?
He's a colonizer. He's like, these savages, they're not even human. They looked at us like apes or monkeys or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was Charlie Kirk's position, that all the original white people here were settlers. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, this is war. The slaves aren't even slaves. They weren't slaves. They were prisoners of war.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's a good point.
They embedded it in American people so much that our ancestors were slaves, though, but they weren't slaves.
They were more than slaves. Yeah, that's an interesting perspective.
That's why people like Nat Turner rebelled, because that's not what they were.
Yeah, they were actually more. They're more than just a slave. Yeah, because when you got people like kidnapped and they can't go free, and they gonna get killed if they go up the street to break free, that is a prisoner of war.
Prisoner of war.
Yeah.
Passenger.
Okay. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I never considered that. That's very smart that my cousin brought that up. That our slave ancestors were actually prisoners of war. Yeah, they're more than slaves. If you really, really think about it, I never looked at it like that. So that's why this is the Advanced Insight channel, y'all. Remember, I told y'all once before, I didn't name it that because I'm just bringing Advanced Insight here. I'm naming it that because y'all bring it here too. It attracts that type of energy, right? So my cousin, Buzzy, he just pointed out a good fact there. I totally agree with that. So we're getting ready to find out if Candace Owens is a narcissist. My cousin thinks she's an empath. My cousin Buzzy thinks she's an empath. I suspect she's an empath. I'm going to agree with my cousin. My second analogy would be maybe that Candace Owens is narcissistic, or HG Tudor, he's put in the work. He may declare she's a narcissist. I don't know. So I'm getting ready to do the reaction. Okay, so fair use, y'all. Getting ready to find out, what is Candace Owens? Y'all think she an empath? Y'all think she's a narcissist? Y'all think she narcissistic? Or y'all think she a normal? She ain't normal, y'all. Candace Owens ain't normal. Candace Owens is not normal. I do know that. Let's find out. Let's find out what the sister is. Please like, share, and subscribe here as well, y'all.
Candace Owens, narcissist or something else? Part 10. Hello.
Oh no, actually, no. Actually, no. We want to do the conclusion, y'all. So I'm sorry. That's not the right part. So actually, I apologize for that. So I'm not doing a reaction on that. I'm doing a reactions on the conclusion. So let me click on the right video. I deeply apologize. My mistake. My mistake there. The conclusion. Let's find out. Is Candace Owens a narcissist? Is Candace Owens a empath? Is Candace Owens narcissistic, or is she a normal? Candace Owens is not a normal. We do know that. So we get ready to find out. Let's find out what she is. Please like, share, and subscribe, y'all.
Candace Owens. Conclusion. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Candace Owens is a polarizing figure. To some, she is a seeker of the truth, a warrior who will not be swayed from her mission to get to the nub of what's going on in the world, a desire to expose those who've got something to hide, to drag the hypocrites into the light, to allow people to see their shameful behaviors. For others, she's regarded as a conspiracy theory peddler, a deluded individual who appoints herself as arbiter of the truth and comes out with outrageous observations and theories based upon no evidence, or that she joins the evidence together in a way which twists and convolutes it in a manner which doesn't bear up to scrutiny. There are those that liken her to an individual that goes around a neighborhood smashing the windows and offering to replace them. She's been involved in various spats and fallouts with...
I will also add this about Candace Owens. You know, I never did really agree with her perspective of George Floyd. So in that case, so H.G. Tudor brings this up about her, that she makes conclusions and somewhat analogies, however way he words it. She does this without evidence. So what I found about her that I thought early on was that even with evidence, she still ignores it. So with the George Floyd situation, I'm not gonna lie, when the George Floyd situation happened and Candace Owens came out, I didn't like that she ignored all the evidence that the police were in the wrong. So I noticed that about her, like there's video after video, the evidence was just clear in the George Floyd case. Even the average white person didn't think it was right. So with all that evidence, Candace Owens, from my perspective, even back in the day, came up with the conclusion that some kind of way George Floyd deserved it, or the police weren't in the wrong. So I just want to point that out, my perspective, because I'm doing a reaction on this. So, but H.G. Tudor also says, I'm going to word it exactly how he says it. He says she's a polarizing figure. To some, she is the seeker of truth. A warrior who will not be dissuaded from her mission to get to the nub of what's going on in the world. Candace Owens has a desire to expose those who got something to hide, to drag the hypocrites into the light, to allow people to see their shameful behaviors. But H.G. Tudor says that for others, Candace Owens is regarded as a conspiracy theory peddler, a deluded individual who appoints herself as an arbiter of the truth and comes out with outrageous observations and theories based upon no evidence. This is what HD Tudor says. Based upon no evidence. So some feel this way, that she comes up with outrageous observations and theories based upon no evidence. And that's why I stated that from my perspective with the George Floyd situation many years ago, Candace Owens, from my perspective, ignored the obvious evidence. And the obvious evidence supported that what the police did was not right. Ultimately, all of those police officers, as far as I know, did get sentenced some prison time. Derek Chauvin being sentenced the longest prison sentence in comparison to the other police officers. None of those police officers got enough time sentenced to them. When police officers get 15 years and stuff like that for murdering people when they shouldn't have murdered them, that's not enough time from my perspective. But, the laws haven't changed enough. There's still a lot of laws that put police in a category of a certain protection when they kill. So fair use, y'all, fair use.
With other individuals.
We're getting ready to find out what Candace Owens is. From HG Tudor's
whatever your position in relation perspective, to Candace Owens, you are, of course, entitled to take it. You may well regard her in a supportive way, believing what she has to tell you. You may find her lacking credibility and dislike the way that she conducts herself. At the end of the day, that is a choice you can make. But this is about making a determination as to whether she is an empath, a normal, a narcissistic person, or a narcissist. It's highly likely that whatever the outcome is, given her polarizing nature, there'll be some will be dissatisfied with it.
I'm not going to be dissatisfied with what HG Tudor says because I want to know. I'm excited. I didn't watch this video before. I'm doing the reaction with y'all, so I don't know what she is, according to HG Tudor perspective. I feel like she's either an empath or narcissistic. What about if HG Tudor says she's a psychopath? Oh my God. Candace Owens, a psychopath? Oh my God. I just thought about that. What if he said that Candace Owens is a narcissistic psychopath? Oh my goodness. This would be scary, y'all. But I don't know what he's going to say because I'm watching the video with y'all. And remember, I always put the reaction video in the description box when the live ends. Fair use, y'all. Fair use. What is Candace Owens? What is she?
For if she's determined to be an empath, those that regard her as a peddler of conspiracy theories will undoubtedly take issue with that. If she's found to be a narcissist, those that think that she does a good thing with her exposures will undoubtedly take an issue with that. But I raised this issue at the outset of the video to remind you that this is not an analysis of whether Candace Owens is a good or bad person. You can make that determination based upon your own thoughts. It's simply about what categorization of person she is. And if she's determined to be an empath, you can still think that she's a bad person because of the way that she conducts herself, because it doesn't accord with your own views. Similarly, if she's found to be a narcissist, that doesn't mean that you then have to think that she's a bad person, because a narcissist can do good things. Take the glorious narrator, for example. I remind people of this because it has been...
HG Tudor is talking about himself when he says, take the glorious narrator, for example. So he's talking about himself. So he's saying that narcissists can do good things. And it's true. Anyone can do good things, okay? No matter their personality type. That is true.
Evident in the comments that certain individuals have completely lost sight of the purpose of these analyses, which are undertaken on an objective basis, looking at a wide range of evidence to make a determination. Now, Candace Owens is a provocative conservative commentator, podcaster, and activist, and she's risen to prominence through her unyielding critiques of liberal ideologies, identity politics, and cultural norms. As you know, She was born in 1989 in White Plains, New York, and raised in Stamford, Connecticut. Her journey from a liberal-leaning entrepreneur to a right-wing firebrand has been marked by controversy, rapid ideological shifts, and high-profile feuds. I've looked at her life history, her behaviours, her relationships, and public statements to demonstrate what she exhibits. As you know, my framework evaluates individuals across categories of empath, driven by emotional empathy and empathic traits, normal, principled, still with empathic and narcissistic traits, and also emotional empathy, narcissistic, essentially selfish, self-absorbed individuals with low emotional empathy without the full pathology of narcissism, or a narcissist, an individual that has a pursuit of the prime aims governed by an innate need for control, the necessity of the requirement of fuel, an absence of emotional empathy, and a reliance upon manipulative behaviors, amongst other factors.
So H.G. Tudor just described all the personality types from a narcissist, normal, narcissistic, and empath. So, and I broke those down in my lives before. And remember, I always give him credit for his work. If there's anything I've learned from someone else that's not my original content, I do give credit to the YouTuber or the expert and professional, which is H.G. Tudor. He's a British man. I always give him credit for the things that I've learned from him, things that have bettered my life as well. So fair use, y'all.
Fuel, an absence of emotional empathy, and a reliance upon manipulative behaviors, amongst other factors. In order to make this determination, of course, we have to look at sustained patterns over time.
Come with me to shop Ashley's President's Day sale. This place is...
Sorry about that. That's the commercial, y'all. Fair use.
Determination, of course, we have to look at sustained patterns over time. One of the most compelling indicators in relation to Candace Owens is her pervasive grandiosity. This is where she perceives herself as superior, visionary, even divinely ordained, often independent of factual validation. Throughout her career, Owens has positioned herself as an unparalleled truth seeker, battling shadow elites.
Maybe she's gifted. Maybe she's like a clairvoyant. I've always felt that way sometimes when Candace Owens talks about some things, it almost sounds like she has a gift. So if she's gifted, say she's a clairvoyant, and like H.G. Tudor said, some people feel like she's not supplying enough evidence. Maybe she's kind of clairvoyant. Who knows? So if she's utilizing her prophetic gift of prophecy, she is a woman that claims she believes in the Lord. So that's not narcissism if she actually legitimately has a gift. Okay, so fair use, y'all. That's just my perspective. And I view her as gifted. I just don't agree with all her perspectives, but I do view her as being gifted. I've listened to her over time, and it is my perspective that maybe Candace Owens is a little clairvoyant, okay?
Has positioned herself as an unparalleled truth seeker, battling shadow elites. In a January 2025 X post, she claimed a state-level DDoS attack from France targeted her website ahead of her documentary Becoming Bridget, framing her work as so threatening that nations conspire against her. This echoed a November 2025 post, where she asserted that every news trend is about me or Tucker Carlson, attributing it to someone in the shadows panicking and declaring it God time, implying divine endorsement for her investigations into Charlie Kirk's death. Such behavior is indicative of magical thinking and illusions of grandeur, whereby she elevates herself to a heroic figure exposing global cabals. Similarly, in February 2025, she predicted a geopolitical shift towards Russia post-boomer generation, casting herself as a prophetic historian reshaping world views. These repeated instances, spanning social media, where Owen sees herself as intellectually superior, whereby she harnesses views. These repeated instances, spanning social media, podcasts, and interviews, demonstrate a mindset where Owens sees herself as intellectually and morally superior, whereby she harnesses controversy in order to assert control over the audience and to draw fuel from the outrage that follows. This grandiosity intertwines with entire...
Yeah, I hear that her level of grandiosity is pretty heightened there. So HG Tudor, he's calling that grandiosity, which that's more of a narcissistic trait. Okay. So I'm just curious to hear what he has to say. I'm just going to say this too. If he says Candace Owens is a narcissist, I wouldn't disagree with that per se, because what I can say is there was no empathy for George Floyd, right? So that was when I didn't know her very well publicly, and I just didn't respect her views. So if she is a narcissist, according to HG Tudor's professional opinion, I would say that I felt like she had no empathy for the murder of George Floyd by the police officers. Okay. Which all of them are in prison. Okay. So fair use, y'all.
And to draw fuel from the outrage that follows. This grandiosity intertwines with entitlement, which is evident in Owens' disregard for boundaries, contracts, and consequences. Her 2017 doxing of a former police officer critic, April Haley, via her social autopsy platform, led to threats against Haley. Owens blocked warnings, falsely accused Haley of drug addiction, and spread lies, showing a willingness to override others' safety for personal vindication. In her mid-20s, she rented a Manhattan apartment but refused payment for 6 months, claiming toxic mold, and threatened to sue the landlord, which is an entitlement to exploit situations without accountability. Amidst her 2024 fallout with Daily Wire, Owens declared she no longer honours contracts that permit evil, threatening to leak communications and coordinating with critics like Andrew Tate. When denied an Australian visa in 2024 for anti-Semitic conspiracies, she escalated to the High Court, framing it as viewpoint suppression, and was ordered to pay costs. In November 2025, she urged followers to dox college students in footage, basically accusing them of being undercover agents. These actions reveal a pattern of expecting special treatment, dismissing obligations, and weaponizing audiences, whereby she regards rules as inapplicable to her as a consequence of her superior status. Her interpersonal relationships underscore exploitative tendencies, which is where she utilizes other people in order to control them, to maintain a facade, to draw fuel. For instance, her marriage to George Farmer, a British Conservative, where she met him in December 2018 at a Turning Point UK event, Farmer proposed via FaceTime after just 17 days, with no prior dates or romantic gestures, describing it as divine serendipity and a God thing. They married in August 2019 at Trump Winery. Farmer portrays Owens as wearing many hats: investigative journalist, mother, Catholic, suggesting compartmentalization, a strategy to shift personas in order to gain control.
And HG Tudor, y'all, fair use, y'all, but HG Tudor, he does talk about the religious narcissist as well in some of his work. So one of the things with HG Tudor, he's not going to count you out as being a narcissist just because you claim you believe in the Lord. He's looking for straight up empathy. Okay. And other traits that he uses in his professional analogy. One of the things about HG Tudor, when he breaks down these people's situations, I don't know what he's going to say, but I can say this. I'm kind of going to backtrack on my opinion a little bit. If he does say she is a narcissist, that will definitely align with me completely disagreeing with her perspective of George Floyd. Like, she didn't have no soul for that man. So there was no emotional empathy or even cognitive empathy that she was utilizing when it came to George Floyd. So, however, since that time, I see some empathy. I mean, I also look at the way she parents and her morality and the morals that she institutionalizes in her parenting. She seems to have a lot of empathy for her children. And I think for Candace Owens, she would love her children and raise them and teach them about the Lord, even if her children were completely Black. I mean, of course, her children are, multiracial. They're Black and white, so to speak. And so, and I'm just using those labels, Black and white, but you know what I mean. So yeah, fair use, y'all. I'm curious to know what HG Tudor is going to say.
In control. Farmer admits to a submissive role, failing to give her glory, crediting her with his spiritual revival, which may be codependency or idealization masking power imbalances. Rumors of discord, including Cardi B's 2021 infidelity allegations, dismissed but unproven, and family tensions, Farmer's mother has Jewish roots amid Owens' anti-Semitism, hint at strain, with 2024 marked as their toughest year. Beyond marriage, Owens' professional alliances reveal exploitation. She built platforms like Red Pill Black and Blexit Foundation with collaborators like Charlie Kirk and Kanye West, only then to disengage from them when misaligned. After Kirk's 2025 death, she released alleged messages accusing Ben Shapiro and others of sabotage, insinuated Kirk's widow Erica murdered him to cover Zionist infiltration, and monetized the tragedy via super chats, earning $130,000 monthly. This would appear to be exploitation from a colleague's demise, turning betrayal narratives into lucrative content. Similarly, she defended Andrew Tate against 2023 trafficking charges on her podcast, dismissing accusers, and interviewed Harvey Weinstein in 2025, providing a sympathetic platform despite his convictions, exploiting victims' trauma for views. In 2020, she ambushed friend Nicole Arbour on her show by naming Arbour as stalkers against pleas, editing it to claim victory. These patterns demonstrate a repeated absence of emotional empathy, the exploitation of personal relationships for personal gain. Ideological shifts and provocative behaviours abound. Owens pivoted from liberal, criticising Trump's 2016 attributes via Degree 180, to conservative overnight in 2017, blaming progressives' backlash against social autopsy. This is queried as whether it's a genuine awakening or black and white thinking, which of course is a hallmark of the narcissistic absence of the core self, allowing such shifts for control. The controversies, for instance, defending Kanye's anti-Semitic tweets, peddling Kaiser theory, and alleging Brigitte Macron's transgender identity, leading to a 2025 defamation suit, escalate without retraction, often done to boost rankings. Her defiance post-lawsuit, taunting Brigitte and linking to unrelated conspiracies, exemplifies narcissistic bullishness, framing opposition as a validation of her truth. Philanthropy, via Blexit, is small-scale and tied to political activism, potentially a tool for influence rather than the manifestation of genuine emotional empathy, with no large personal donations from her multi-million-dollar net worth. Cumulatively, across the evidence that I have referenced in the course of the episodes, that I have highlighted again in this summary, and also additional evidence, given that there is so much of it out there that I haven't had opportunity to mention it all, it's evident that there's a grandiosity in her self-perception, that she exhibits black and white thinking, that there is an entitlement that overrides boundaries, there's exploitative behaviours in relation to relationships in order to control and draw fuel, there's provocative manipulations done for attention. Whilst defenders will see her as a resilient truth seeker, and of course, even with these attributes, one might still seek the truth, the sustained evidence over decades reveals an innate drive for control and fuel and an absence of emotional empathy. There is the belief of special treatment and being hallmarked for better treatment and insight compared to other people. Her behaviours exploit chaos for the pursuit of the prime aims, and Time and time again, she appoints herself as a specialized arbiter of truth, denoting an attitude of innate superiority and delusion. The behaviors are manifest throughout the evidence on repeated occasions and have taken place over a sustained period of time.
So that's the thing with narcissism. It's a pattern of behaviors over an extended period of time. So just say he's naming a list of things that Candace Owens has done. And I've done a video about her before in my videos. And I think I might release that back to the public. I'm going to find my video that I did about Candace Owens. What I did, because I kind of started watching her, I had put that video in private. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through my videos and find the complaint I had about Candace Owens. Okay. And then I'm going to release that video back to public. Because what I did, as far as I know, I put that video in private maybe, or it could be still on my channel. I'll find out. So I'll look into that. But I'm going to find that video that I did about Candace Owens, and I'm going to put it back in public, and I'm going to put it in the description box on this video. So years before HG Tudor is doing this analogy of Candace Owens being a narcissist, but I didn't like something she did, and it's in that video. And so, like I said, I'm going to put this fair use video in my description box, and I'm going to find the video that I did on Candace Owens. I don't remember how many views I got on it. All my videos, I will get some views, but because this is a small channel, I just get the amount of views I'm supposed to get for the content that I'm putting out there and for how much YouTube allows me in the algorithm, if that makes sense. So I will go find that video, and I will also put that video in the description box, okay, that I did about Candace Owens, if that makes sense. Fair use, y'all. We're getting to this analogy. I'm excited, and I'm ready to know. I suspect that HG Tudor may say she's a narcissist at this point because he's naming a whole list of things in areas where she lacked empathy. And like I said in the video I did about her, I didn't like Candace Owens' behavior at first. So we're going to find out what he says.
Occasions and have taken place over a sustained period of time, as you would imagine. That she, in conducting herself, exhibits a grandiose sense of self-importance. She expects, as a consequence of this almost godlike given power to make determinations, to be recognized as superior. She is preoccupied with this pursuit of the truth relating to the necessity of success and power. It's clear through the matters that she comments upon and the evidence that supports that she regards herself as special and unique and can only be understood by special or high status people. She shows a repeated need to gain reactions from people, engaging in controversial behaviors, exhibiting the requirement for fuel. She expects automatic compliance with what she states, that if you disagree with her, you're simply dismissed, and that she encourages her followers to behave in a particular similar way. She's interpersonally exploitative, and her behavior, in particular evidence in a podcast, shows an arrogance and haughty behaviors, all of which underpin an absence of emotional empathy. Accordingly, as a consequence of the evidence that has been produced, mainly by her, rather than necessarily people talking about her, the finding is that Candace Owens is a narcissist. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.
Well, he said it, y'all. Candace Owens is a narcissist. Yep. She's a narcissist. So I'm going to end the live, and then I'm going to find the video I did on her. Let me see if I could find that right here, because I think I might have put it in private. So let's see. I'm just going to go here and do a search to see. And I mean, I'm going to go with his theory. He said she's a narcissist. And I think that's what I was saying about her some years ago, something to that effect. So let me see if my video is still here. Yeah, I think I had put the video in private because I had started watching some of her work. So I didn't want to be a hypocrite. Yeah, I didn't want to be a hypocrite. So yeah, so I got to take my video out of private and find it. But yeah, he says Candace Owens is a narcissist. So I'm going to get that video. So I'm going to give me like up to 30 minutes to update my description box and to find this video. So please like, share, and subscribe. HG Tudor feels like Candace Owens is a narcissist. So the professional has spoken. And my video, I'm going to be curious to know what my original video said about her. Okay. And basically, I was saying she's behaving like a narcissist. That's what I was kind of hinting around to some years ago. But I got to go find my video. And now, since HG Tudor has declared that she is a narcissist, then I'm going to go take my Candace Owens video out of private. If it's in private mode, it means the public can't see it. But I'm going to go find my video and I'm going to create a new little Candace Owens playlist, y'all. And then I'm going to put my video at the top of the playlist, and then I'm going to put HG Tudor's first because this was the gripe I had. But I feel a little bit more comfortable bringing my Candace Owens video out of private, since an actual professional, someone that has more expertise than me, has declared that Candace Owens is a narcissist. So according to HG Tudor, Candace Owens is a narcissist. I'm getting ready to go find my old video I did about her right now. I sure am. And fair use, y'all. And I will be putting these videos in the description box. I will be putting the one HG Tudor just did, that I did the fair use on in this video. And then I'm going to find my Candace Owens video that I did some years ago about her, and I'm going to put it in the description box as well. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Tune in for more right here with the Advanced Insight channel. I got to go find this video, y'all, because I talked about her some years ago. I sure did. I talked about her years ago. According to HG Tudor, Candace Owens is a narcissist. According to the professional, Candace Owens is a narcissist. According to HG Tudor, he broke down the evidence, y'all. A pattern of behaviors over a period of time is what does it, y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tune in for more right here with the Advanced Insight channel. Thank you. Bye.